What happened to the 49ers here? June, we'll start with you.
Well, it's Brock Purdy cannot read cover two defense. I have a friend of mine. He's a big time 49ers fan. Always been a 49er fan. I talked to him. He's not a Purdy fan. He said he doesn't think Purdy is the long term answer for that team. But he said that if you listen to San Francisco sports radio, they talk about it all the time. He cannot read a cover two defense. Every single team that's beaten them this season has ran a cover two defense. That safety over the top confuses him, or linebacker dropping into the zone confuses him. And then next thing you know, if you look at the guys who get those picks, it's a safety or it's a linebacker. It's rarely just a corner. They beat the Cowboys and the Eagles because the Cowboys and the Eagles do what? They man up on the outsides. They man up on the outsides. They're able to beat that. They got great receivers. They can do that. But when you get in that zone and it's confusing him back there, he's throwing picks. I mean, he threw 4 picks and he got benched in a game. That's there's something wrong. There's something wrong there. So I think what you're seeing now, coming late in the season, is you're going to see a lot more teams that see that and they're going to say, hey, maybe we should try this cover two against him and let's see if Purdy can beat us with it. Because I don't think he can, or the game is going to be closer than it should be. I think he's going to continue to turn the ball over, especially right now at the end of the season. And I agree with my friend. I don't think he's a long term answer. So, yeah, they definitely got exposed at that point.
Number one, it sounds like your friend needs to come on this show. Number two, Nestor, please go ahead.
Yeah, I agree 100% with June. You have to just wonder if Brock Purdy being such a system QB is making him extremely predictable because some of those picks, it like you could just tell they knew where he was going, and it has a lot to do with how they're strategizing that defense, like June said. And again, you just have to wonder if he's because of him being a system QB, if he's just overly predictable, and how that's gonna play in when they get into the playoffs. Because if they're figuring them out, then that's I feel like that's a big problem for them. Oh, and I also just want to say too, like besides that, Lamar Jackson played a hell of a game. Man made no mistakes, and he was crazy. Like coming out of the pocket, the way he scrambled, it was just insane. I think he's definitely. If he hasn't already, I mean, I feel like he already made the case for MVP.
Yeah, he played his ass off. Go ahead, Malin.
What you saw was two quarterbacks going up against elite defenses, right? And you saw one shrink under the pressure, and you saw one excel under the pressure. Comes to Brock Purdy. Now, first of all, we do need to get your friend on the show because I do want to speak to the only 49er fan that is not dreaming of riding Purdy's nuts in an uncomfortable fashion for anyone to ever want to see on TV. Because everybody that I talk to is 49ers fan because I'm a part of a lot of like NFC West fan pages, right?
Yeah.
They are all clamoring so goddamn hard for Purdy to win the MVP. And I'm like, I don't understand why you guys want to disrespect the best player on your team.
Exactly.
And let's not act like CMC is not the MVP this year. It doesn't have to go to a quarterback.
No.
Like against the Ravens, the only drive outside of Sam Darnold working his magic to show that Purdy's overrated, the only drive they scored a touchdown on was when they gave the ball to CMC like 4 times. And he ripped it off for huge gains, scored the touchdown. Now, G Money and I do disagree on the 4 interceptions that Purdy had, and he can have his moment. I totally respect his opinion on this. But most of the year, Purdy has been able to throw to wide open people because of the scheming that the offense allows under Mike Shanahan and all these weapons. But what I saw against Baltimore was a quarterback trying to play hero ball and feeling like he could fit in these passes. So yeah, like a lot of 3 out of those 4 interceptions were tip balls, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Why were they tip balls? Because he was throwing in the coverage that was so much tighter than what he's used to.
Right.
And like June said, when you're going up against a great defense, you're not able to read that defense, and Purdy can't do that. Like when he was playing against the 40, or when he was playing against the Seahawks, yes, they beat the Shadows both times. I understand that, but they got a much better squad than we do. They got a much more talent than we do. And even the last game that he played against the Seahawks, he played like dog shit, except for one pass to Brandon Ayuk. Played like shit most of that game.
Right.
And so, no, I'm still not sold on Brock Purdy, no matter what the stats tell me. Okay, to me, this is the same 1999 Los Angeles Rams where Kurt Warner wins the MVP because he has all these quarterback stats. Marshall Faulk was doing all of the dirty work.
Right.
And making it a hell of a lot easier. I mean, Kurt Warner had Holt, Bruce, Falk, all these people, right? Well, who the hell does Purdy have? He has the best goddamn offense in the NFL. So of course he's going to put up stats, and he's been schemed to be able to do it. But you come up against a defense like Baltimore, and he got shut down. So and things get tighter in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Play tighter. And what we saw this last week, or what we saw on Monday, was Purdy playing tight. And I think that's going to show itself in the playoffs again.
Yeah, I don't have much to add on to this. I will say, though, that number one, give the Ravens all their credit, give them their flowers. They deserve that win. They just outplayed them.
Yeah.
But number two, like you kind of mentioned there at the end there, Malin, the playoffs, when they come around, like the game's going to slow down and things are going to get tight. And every single opponent that you're going to run into, they're going to make you face your fear. Like whatever you do worst, they're going to expose that and bring that out and make you do that. Yeah. So now that the NFL has kind of been put on notice a bit more on what Purdy is bad at and what the 49ers offense, where it stalls out at, I think they're going to run into some issues come the postseason because if Purdy can't fit a ball into coverage, like tight coverage, they're in for a rude awakening come the playoffs because that's definitely going to happen for sure. Dudes are not just going to be wide open all the time. So can't scheme your way at everything. So